Hi, Mark Reguer here. Very excited. The World Cup is here. I've been waiting for 4 years. Now we get to see some great games, and I wanted to form an opinion about who might be winning the World Cup. And to do that, I obviously collected data about each player going to the World Cup, and I built a little table that has basically for each player a row. You can see that here you have a column for the team that player plays for, which in this case is England, the shirt number one, the position of the player. In this case, there's four kinds: goalkeeper, defenders, midfield, and forward. This is a goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford, who was born in '94. His short name will be Pickford. His club that he plays for is Everton. His height is 185 centimeters. His weight is 72 kilos. The value here is in millions of euros, 30 million euros. And I use the site Transfer Market to get that value. Obviously, it's debatable, but I decided to take that, and you can see that it's 30 million euros. I decided if he was a starter, part of the starting lineup of 11 players, I put a 1 if he is and a 0, and I use a lot of the starting lineup from the last game the team played. He's obviously has little experience. He has only 3 caps with the national team of England, and as a keeper, he doesn't get to score. What did I do with this data? Well, the first thing is that I wanted to evaluate the value of the roster. And here you can see that there is really, in general, 7 teams that have an average value of the 23 players over 30 million euros. You can see that France has the highest value, and you can see this from the axis, almost at 50 million euros. And on the other axis, I put the number of times they play for the national team. So this gives me an idea of the experience of the team. And you can see that France has high value, but the average number of caps of the 23 players is in mid-20s, like around 25 caps. Spain, which has a little bit less value, has a lot more experience because the average number of caps of the 23 players going to the World Cup is at 40. And Brazil is a bit in the middle, a little bit less value, closer to 40 and 30 caps. And you can see that England and Germany have a similar value, but Germany is a lot more experienced with an average of 40 caps, England 20. You can see that Belgium and Argentina close to 30 and 35 to 45 caps, in Portugal less. And you can see how the gap, you have a lot of teams that have good players, maybe 3, 4 with high value, and the rest more average. And you can see the consider smaller teams when it comes to value. But then I wanted to see just the starting 11. And you can see that the average value is a lot tighter. With England, France, Brazil, and Spain having an average value of 60 million euros for the 11 players that start. But obviously, England has will have a team which probably will have lower experience at under 30 caps. France and Brazil similar, mid-30s, and Spain lots of experience, around 60. Same as Belgium, lots of experience, a little bit less value, and Germany. So you can see these 3 teams have 50 to 60, 65 caps and a value between 50, 60. And then you have 3 other teams that have high value, France, Brazil, England, but much less experienced team. And behind you see Argentina. It's good to have value, but I believe that value has to be well distributed across the position. So I decided to have the same chart by position. And you can see when it comes to keeper, you have 3 stars at the World Cup. You have David De Gea, which value is estimated around 70 million. You have Alisson, who plays for Becker for Roma at 60 million, and Thibaut Courtois similar value. They have both the Brazilian and the Spanish keeper are fairly young and have a little over 20 caps. Thibaut Courtois more experienced, but clearly these 3 dominate. Much far behind, you have 2 keepers that have similar value but different profile, with Martin Neuer, 35 million because of his advanced age and lots of experience, and Loris, which is going to be close to 100 caps and a lot less value also for his age. Jordan Pickford has a good value, but obviously only 3 caps. If we look at the defense now, we see also a very different story, with Spain clearly dominating, with having a very high value and lots of experience with players Jordi Alba, Carvajal, Piqué, and Ramos, who have a combined average of nearly 80 number of caps, and very high value. France has very high value as well, around 50 million euros for a defender, which is high, but a lot less experience. With Varane, Umtiti, Mendy, and CDB, also, but very strong defense. And Germany is in the middle, which has a fairly experienced team with players like Kimmich, Boateng, who have played quite a bit, and Hummels especially, and let's experience for the two others. And as you go back, you see England and Brazil have a similar profile, with England having Stones, Walker, Rose, and Cahill. Fairly decent experience, the average 30 caps, and Brazil again with high value for Marcelo Marquinhos and much less for Miranda and Fagner. So here Spain, advantage to Spain for goalkeeper and defense. Germany and France, a strong defense, and a bit behind Brazil and England. When it comes to the midfield, there's truly 6 teams that are well ahead of everybody else, with around 50 million pounds. And here this is Germany, Spain, Belgium, Brazil, England, and France. Belgium has actually the highest value of midfield, and that's really driven by the value of Kevin De Bruyne at 150 million euros. France value is a bit more distributed between Pogba, Kanté, and Tolisso. And Spain, also very distributed. Sergio, Busquets, Isco, Thiago, and Silva, which has a fairly low value at 30 million, but that's also because of his advanced age. I think around 32 years old. But here, lots of experience and similar profile as Germany, with very seasoned players like Toni Kroos, Thomas Müller, Ozil, and Gundogan. So Spain and Germany have a similar background, lots of experience, lots of value. England and France has also a similar background with lots of value, but a lot less experience, with Dele Alli, Dyer, and Henderson, which and then Brazil, and it is a bit less with with players like Coutinho, Casemiro, Paulinho, and Willian. So clearly, this 6 team, and again, Spain is well positioned, high value, lots of experience. In terms of forward, 2 teams dominate: Argentina and Brazil. This is where you see the superstar Messi and Aguero, with an average value of 130 million euros. And here you see Neymar and Gabriel Jesus, again, 130 million average. England has a very strong forwards, with Kane at 150 million, Sterling and Marcus Rashford, which is at 65 million despite his young age. And here we have a group of teams like Spain with, I think, Marco Asensio bring the value up, and Diego Costa. France, which has 2 amazing players, but Giroud is valued a lot less. And Belgium with Hazard, Lukaku, and Mertens. So we have very strong value. And then we have teams like Egypt, where Salah lopside so much because of his value at 150 millions. Poland, we have Lewandowski, which also lopsides the value, and obviously Portugal with Cristiano Ronaldo. So when I look at this, and Germany again has a similar profile as Spain, with players with less value and less experience up front. So if I were to look at this, because of its balance, I truly give an edge for Spain for, I think, having the best keeper in the world, very strong experienced defense, an amazing midfield, and less value forward like Germany. But I think they're going to dominate so much in the other areas that it's less relevant. A team like Argentina has a keeper that I think is very old, a defense that has Otamendi as a strong value, but the others are less proven, and same as the midfield. So I don't feel it's as balanced. Another key factor for me is the starting lineup, which club they play with. And here it's interesting to see that Spain is expected to have 7 players coming only from 2 clubs, Real Madrid and Barcelona. This is important because this national team only get together maybe once a quarter, and having a lot of players playing the same team every day helps bring cohesion in the team. And you see Germany here with 5 of the players expected to come from Bayern Munich. And what was a surprise for me is in England, we have 7 players that are expected, like Spain, to come from 2 clubs, Tottenham and Manchester City. And obviously, this is because you have strong national teams and strong leagues in the same country. Brazil will never have this benefit because their league is a lot less valuable, like France, Portugal, and Argentina. So you're more likely to have players distributed across multiple clubs. So I believe that this is going to be a strong factor. I believe that Spain, Germany, England, Brazil, and France will be very strong contenders. I think England is going to surprise because they have a lot of value, especially in their midfield and forward. I think their keeper is unknown, but he seems to have a lot of talent. And maybe the central defense with Stones and Cahill may be a liability. But I think England is going to surprise, and my money is Spain beating Brazil in the final.